In the more than 60 years that WDAY has been broadcasting, we've been there with you, sharing your experiences, your community, and your home. Now, with WDAY's Extra, we're going beyond to bring you additional news, weather, sports, and other local events, live and in high definition. WDAY's Extra is a channel that's giving you more coverage while providing the same superior quality that you expect. Check your local listings or contact your cable provider for WDAY's Extra, bringing you more.
There is a place where teaching matters, where faculty know your name and guide you through personal moments of discovery, where new information leads to life-changing thoughts and conclusions, where you see the world and yourself in new ways. You will be challenged to think and to think again. You may achieve all of your original goals or discover something altogether different. At Minnesota State University Moorhead, you will find your life transformed.
This is Dragons Live, presented by Form Communications.
Hello everyone, I'm Alexis Kennedy and welcome to a special mini Dragons Live before we join Steve DeStatio and Scotty for coverage of Dragons football against Concordia St. Paul. First, a quick look back at the home opener for the Dragons football. A special Thursday night game with Midcoast Sportsnet covering the action as well as an end zone extravaganza. Here's Webby with a look at opening day.
After starting the regular season with the convincing 38-7 victory over Augustana, Dragon football opened their season at home on Thursday, September 7th at 7 p.m. The opening day game was originally slated for Saturday, but a new deal between the Northern Sun Conference and Midcoast Sports Network started Thursday night football across the league. On TV, got it. Now let's get the fans in. Our own Dragonfire Booster Club organized a large-scale party to help, and the End Zone Extravaganza was born, a field-level area on the north end zone directly behind the goalpost where field goals whizzed over your head. Long games on the side, food trucks all around, and a brick house beer garden. The result? In all honesty, the biggest crowd I've ever seen at Nemzik Stadium. The only thing that wasn't an absolute blast was the scoreboard at the end of the night, as the Dragons made a try for a comeback in the second half, but their efforts fell short, falling to Southwest Minnesota State 35-51. Scoreboard ignored, the night was a big win by Dragon fans. They showed up, almost 3,000 of them. They stood up and they shouted their Dragon pride all night long.
Our athletics director, Doug Peters, is always fired up about something. Let's see what he's working on this week in Doug's desk.
Hey, I'm fired up. You're joining me for this week's segment of Doug's Desk. I'll tell you what, this time of year, a lot of people say, what does an athletic director actually do? So when you think about what I actually do, it's really trying to make sure everything runs well behind the scenes. I've got a great administrative team that take care of most of the day-to-day operations and is trying to provide them support. Probably the number one thing we're trying to do is help our student athletes get off to a great start for the academic year. For example, next week we are hosting a freshman night where we bring our freshmen in and we teach them about registration. We have a little dinner, and then we also teach them how to follow their progress towards degree, because that's the ultimate goal, is they walk across that stage and get their degree from President Blackhurst. Other things that are happening behind the scenes is we are planning schedules for next year. We're working on bylaws and constitution stuff within the NSIC and just trying to make sure that we do the best we can with our new ticketing system and that we get as much information out as we can about Dragon athletics. The other thing that we get to do behind the scenes is always fun in the fall. We've got homecoming coming up, and Gloria Rippel and I work with our Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and they have two big events coming up in the month of October. Obviously homecoming, there's Dragons Give, which is a university-wide initiative food drive, and we have a little contest amongst our teams. The other thing that we do during the month of October is this year we're proud to partner with United Way and the Day of Caring. So we've got a team made up of our Student Athlete Advisory Committee where we'll go out and we'll meet a need in the community, and we are fired up to be able to do that. The thing that I probably like the most, though, that I get to do this time of year is I get to go to games. So we've got a lot of games coming up. You can follow along just like I do at MSUMDragons.com. We also have the mobile app. We're fired up to watch our student athletes compete this fall. We've got volleyball, we've got soccer, we've got football, we've got cross country. You name it, it's going on this fall. Come out and cheer on the Dragons.
Don't go anywhere. When we come back, a new note to self and our Ironman. Stick with us.
Another day. And just like every day, it never seems to slow down. But you have a plan. Grab a cup, grab the paper, and grab a little time. Just for you. It's worth it. Don't get the paper? Just grab the phone. Call now and save up to 60% off the newsstand price. Journalists, bringing the story home every day.
Get fired up for the new Shop MSUMDragons.com, the official online store of Dragon Athletics, featuring top brands like Under Armour, Adidas, Columbia, and more. Get gear in women's, youth, toddler, and infant sizes, perfect for all of our Dragon fans. Support your favorite Dragon team with Select a logo. Anything custom ships in 72 hours. And take your tailgating to the next level with items like bleacher chairs, tailgate tents, and lawn chairs. Get the gear and support your team with profits going directly to Dragon Athletics from Shop MSUMDragons.com.
Welcome back. Now for our 50 years young Ironman. Not the superhero kind, more like the 112-mile biking, 2.4-mile swimming, and a 26.2-mile running kind. Here's head swimming and diving coach Todd Peters.
Head swimming and diving coach Todd Peters recently ran, swam, and biked his first Ironman triathlon. Also, he just turned 50 years old.
14 hours, 37 minutes, 59 seconds to be exact was my race time.
50 years young.
And 50 years young. You know, every day I get up knowing that I'm either going to swim, bike, or run, or do two of those three. It may mean that I'm going to do an hour swim, which is usually in a lake where I'm going to do, 1 to 2 miles across the lake and back. It might mean I'm going to do a 100-mile bike ride. So that means I'm going to go out to Lakes Country where there's some hills, because the Madison area is very hilly, especially compared to Fargo-Moorhead. Or it might mean I'm going to go run 12 miles at 9 o'clock at night, because that's the only time I can fit that time in. And sometimes it means I'm going to ride bike for 40 miles, get off and run 6. It's different every day, and that's part of the what's great about triathlon is it's really never boring. It's always something different every day, and mixing and matching. It's not just like, I've done marathons and I've done marathon training, and that gets really tedious. You know you're going to run almost every day, and you don't have to do that with triathlon. You mix and match a lot more. I've been doing triathlons actually for a long time. I started doing them in my late 20s after I got done with college swimming in college, and just looking for something to stay in shape and stay active, and started doing sprint triathlons. And I kind of got out of it for probably 15 years just because of kids and jobs and things like that. And I got back into it recently. And as soon as you get into triathlons, the first thing other triathletes ask is, have you done an Ironman? Are you going to do an Ironman? And you either commit to it or you put it off. And I kept putting it off, saying, maybe when I turn 50, I'll do that. And fortunately or unfortunately for me, all my triathlete friends reminded me about that, and when they knew that I was about to turn 50, that hey, it's time to put up or shut up kind of thing. And so I decided that I would do it. I talked to my team after the event, and I told them, and this is true, I didn't tell them in advance, that one of the reasons why I do this is for them. I want them to be able to look to me as an inspiration. I want them to be able to look to me as someone on deck who is active, who goes through some of the same things that they do. They know that after practice I go out and I'm gonna run or bike or swim for 2 hours or more to stay in shape and to get ready for this race and other races. And so when I tell them to do things, or I ask them to work out for long periods of time, they realize that I know what they're going through. And I think that helps them have more respect for me and for what I'm asking from them.
How'd the actual day go for you as far as expectations and what happened?
It was mostly the way I expected it, and things went really, really well. I think the best aspect was the weather. The high was 72 degrees. so it wasn't that hot. Started out actually pretty chilly in the morning, which is tough to get in the lake, and yet the lake water is warmer than the air, so it actually felt pretty good. But the bike course in Madison is very, very challenging. They brought back this hill called Barlow Hill, which is infamous in Wisconsin, in the Madison area. Probably half of the people on the hill got off their bike and walked up it. When you look at my Garmin, which tracks the speed that I'm going, I was going 2.9 miles an hour, which is almost impossible to stay upright when you're going that slow. It was more than a 20% grade, and when you first start going up the hill, you can't see the top. And when you get to the top, you're not actually at the top. There's two more smaller hills at the top, and it's just, even after you're done with that hill, you can feel the effects of it through the rest of the race, which is, it's a 112-mile bike ride. I felt really, really good finishing that. There were a lot of people who didn't, and I stayed on my pace and did what I needed to do to get across the finish line. And that really was my goal. I wanted to get to the starting line healthy. I wanted to get to the finish line and cross it vertically. And I did both of those things. It feels pretty amazing. Yeah, to be able to say that I'm an Ironman is, you know, very few people are able to do that. So it's really special.
Thanks, Coach Peters, for sharing your story with us, and happy 50th birthday as well. Time now for our Note to Self segment, where an upperclassman writes a letter to themselves as a freshman.
This is Monica Vega, and this is my note to self. Okay, Monica, let me start off by saying what a fast 4 years it has been. You will learn so much, so take every opportunity and make the best of it. You will push your limits, learn about who you are, and meet people who will impact your life tremendously. Being a student athlete won't be anything like what you're used to. You will need to grind day in and day out, but that's okay. You were raised to grind, so use that to your advantage. Also, don't be afraid to seek help when you need it. Now let's talk about volleyball. I know not playing your first season is going to be difficult. Coming to practice and mostly serving or line judging is not what you expected. Let's be honest though, you are not ready. You are inconsistent, you don't say much, and you have more bad moments than good. Instead of being upset about the situation, figure out how to improve and wait for your chance. Take the time to thank Mom and Dad for all their support. They will still come to every home game knowing that you are redshirting. Don't take your teammates for granted. Get to know them and branch out. The highs and lows will be so much better because they are there for you. There will always be others who will doubt you, but there will be more who believe in you. Keep those supporters close because you will need them on this journey. Now you might be asking yourself if this was the right choice. You always knew MSUM was the place for you, and that's why you never considered going anywhere else. By the time you are a senior, you will know without a doubt that you made the right choice. Now you're in your senior season with another year left of eligibility. Don't use that as an excuse. Do things now. The last thing I'm going to say is don't give up.
Thanks again for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. For our director, Alex Nelson, assistant Brent Keel, and myself, thank you for watching this special Mini Dragons Live. Enjoy live coverage of Dragons football with Steve and Scotty coming up next. And of course, go Dragons!